they'll be calling me royalty.
One second.
His hello is going.
to season 11 of IRC. Of course, we're here live for the second round here in Baku City, one of the quickest street tracks in F1. And joining me today in the comm center is, of course, Deepak Raj and SD. Deepak, how are you feeling today? How excited are you for the race?
Yep, I'm feeling really good about this one. And like I said before, and before it didn't get captured because there were some audio issues which just got fixed right now. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I said earlier, this track is one of the best ones for in terms of entertainment at least. Have a lot of good stuff going and a lot of bad stuff going, but ultimately at the end of it, the viewer gets the maximum entertainment of this. So yeah, really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've covered the best parts of Azerbaijan, the good and the bad. Of course, the good being the action, the bad being, of course, some of the safety car restarts. But again, I think we're definitely going to have an entertaining race, and that's what's more important at this stage. Of course, as we're done, we'll just move quickly to track guide.
Yeah, so this is the Baku City circuit, one of the fastest street circuits in the F1 calendar. It's got two DRS zones and two separate detection points. And most of the corners are 90-degree corners, typical of a street circuit, but the sector 2 is going to be absolutely tricky, notably the castle section, which is quite infamous for the I am stupid moment. And of course, who can forget about the turn one, which is known for some quite amazing overtakes and for the quite infamous Hamilton moment that happened there. Quite magical, you could say.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with you. The fact that you mentioned so many moments at this track itself, the first one, of course, being Ferrari pain, but then there's so many good, so many good spicy moments at Baku as well, especially from 2017 onwards. Those first few races that we had were some of the best racing that we've seen in at least F1 at that time.
Yep, definitely. So, who's going to recreate some of those moments today? Gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we're going to jump in quali as soon as quali is ready. But while we're speaking about some of those moments, I think one of the moments that I can think of is I believe this was 2018, if I'm not wrong, where Max and Ricardo collided when they were fighting for positions, both Red Bulls taking each other out. I think
Yep,
that's
that
rare
was
to see now.
2018.
Yeah, that is definitely rare to see now because, of course, I think I'm not sure what would happen with this season's 2024's Baku race, whether Perez would be able to bring it or not. Again, that depends on the car itself. But yeah, I think that those were some of the good old days where people, actually used to fight way often with their teammates. Of course, Vettel and Leclerc, Hamilton, Bottas. So many good moments here.
Yep, definitely. Like you said, that particular race with Verstappen and Ricardo coming into clash, but until that point, the racing was just some of the intense racing that we've ever seen. Like going side by
Mhm.
side through the corners and stopping
Mhm.
close, and it
Ooh.
just came to a head
Ooh.
into turn one. But as
Deepak.
we are into quali, we could see that the rain is belting down right now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. As soon as, well, I hope this rain sort of stops at some point and it goes to Inters, and I just want to see who jumps to Inters first because we know some people are gonna try. Well, we'll see how wet it is out there. I think it's very wet. Looking at the conditions, everyone is definitely going out on full wets at this stage. It's going to be extremely difficult because the track is going to be gripless at this stage, and everyone's going to struggle for those grips. And considering this is a street track, oh, look at the spray. Ah, it's so close to the walls as well. Considering this is a street track, again, the walls are so close, so you can even essentially DNF yourself by crashing into it, and it's gonna be on the edge, on the limit for these drivers who are attempting to go out for pole right now.
Yep,
Oh,
and as you can see right now, the loss of grip, the lack of grip is clearly on display here right now. This track, like you said, it's just being a street track, very sharp corners, walls are very, very close to you, and all it takes is just one little moment of traction loss and you're into the wall. So yeah, these guys are gonna have to be very, very careful. And considering this is full wets as well, and we see a car being disqualified, extreme getting disqualified, blocking the pit lane. I wonder what happened there. Did he have a spin on the exit? I guess we'll have to find out later when you get a chance to interview the driver later on.
yeah, I think it must be like a spin. I don't see any other. Oh, whoa, whoa! There
Oh,
was another moment there between SSJ, almost a Leclerc. I am stupid moment there, but I think there must be unplayed contact. Yeah, you can see the unplayed is gone. He's struggling for grip there.
yep.
He's
He's just squirming all over the place. There's no downforce on that car in the front, so it's clearly on display here. So yeah, this is kind of testing times. I guess the drivers will have to take this first few laps to get the grips with this. I mean, literally get to grips with his conditions right now. So that's got to be their first item on the list, and gonna have to slowly and steadily start pushing forward. We don't know what the weather condition is like, but like you said, happened to start. There is chance that it could go on to the Inter's condition as the session moves forward. So yeah, if that is the case, then whoever blinks first is going to get that.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned a good point is you have to be slow, especially in a wet quali. You have to be slow when you're actually going for your outlaps because you have to sort of understand the grips of each part of the track, and that was very close. And I think SSJ
That was
Assassin is
SSJ
out.
Assassin. Yeah, we just saw the message that SSJ Assassin had retired, and I didn't know where that happened, and we just got the answer to that. His car is stranded right in the middle of that back straight. Is not where you want to be.
Yeah, definitely not the place you want to be, especially. Oh, that is so close, and I think there was definitely some form of contact there. Again, is the stream lagging for you a little, Deepak, right now?
Yeah, it seems to be a bit stuttering here and there. So I guess everything is all right from the streamer side of things.
Yeah, well, hopefully, but yeah, definitely it looks like there was some form of contact between the right ear of that Ferrari. Hopefully, oh,
Ooh.
as I say that, he goes straight on to the to the runoff. That was so close there. Oh, wow! Like you could just see it's not good right now. The conditions are just pretty much very poor. I think if this was, oh, look at another car gone, King James. Oh, as I say that, the Williams also losing traction. I think if this was real life, I think they'd probably red flag this as I'm pretty sure because it looks terrible out there, the conditions.
Yeah, the drivers are really struggling to get the hang of it, and they're really clicking on the traction, and they're losing it out. I guess they should take it a bit more easy, and just get a banker lap in. You have enough time, so get a banker lap, spend some time, and then you'll definitely get the hang of it. But I guess these guys are just eager to get their best laps out of the way. I guess they should be taking it slow.
Yeah, I think slow is the. I'm surprised I'm saying this, but I think slow is the way to go with this quali session. At least right now in F1, slow enough that you don't lose traction out of a corner and go face first in the wall. But then fast enough to actually get pole. As we were talking about pole, Shubh Kumar gets the best time right now at 2 minutes and 9:94. Oh, that is the best. Well, I don't think that's the best you can get out of this tires right now, but that's the best time at the moment that others have to beat up. And we'll see who can rise up to the challenge as we see Archit, the second one to cross the line, and 5/10 of Shubh Kumar's pole position. I wonder where simply YT gets is our provisional pole with 2 minutes 9:32. And that is one hell of a lap. But let's see if someone can get it a little bit more faster. I think definitely there are more faster times out there. I think people are still struggling in figuring out where the grip is. And the more they experiment, the more they take risks, the better lap times you'll see.
Yep, exactly. It all circles down to the same point that he said again. Need to get the hang of the track first. With this condition, I mean, of course, these guys do a lot of practice, but most of this practice ends up being in the dry conditions, maybe even light rain. But no one is that prepared for wets. And we see Helium popping in an
Oof.
absolutely brilliant lap with a 158.5, and Helium is just sending it sideways into turn one, just showing off right now at this point. But yeah, that's a good lap.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a good lap. You could see 2 seconds away from everyone in the rest of the field. This shows up how much everyone else has to catch up. Basically, that's the conditions for you there. And it separates the best from everyone else essentially.
Yep. So I guess Helium might have done some practice or whatever. He just got up to speed that quick enough because we didn't see his car being tangled in incidents or anything of that sort. So probably he was just running around slow, just trying to get his grip, and I think he just found the right place to do his lap. So brilliant lap from him.
Yeah,
Will definitely
definitely.
and considering and knowing what you know about Helium, he'll definitely be doing one better than this. I hope because as such session goes on, there are chances for the lap track to improve, which means that better lap times. So yeah.
Yeah, again, I don't think still the rain is stopping as we see the Mercedes, get through that sector of the lap as we see the Alpine coming in, Shiv Kumar definitely, and of course Arishad is crossing the line at his top speed of 335 as we see him not make
He
a difference here.
improves. He improves, but not enough to beat Shiv Kumar's time. So yeah, still got some time left though.
Definitely there. And who else is still not there not there made of lap? I think Moto's out there. Cat is on an out lap. Well, we still have a few of our banger qualifiers still left to qualify, but I think I mean, considering Simply's time, I will have to say this: Simply has done a good job qualifying, at least for now. Like he's definitely looking stronger than quali. He's just 3 tenths off helium, and I think he's definitely given a good lap. If he can get a little bit more, he'll be closer towards getting that P2 position. As we see Faizan here making his way through sector 2 right now. Again, you can see the grip, the loss of grip. He can't even touch the apexes. Can't even turn in for it. I think most of these guys, I'm pretty sure they must have some form of a dry setup because the race has to be dry if their setup isn't aligning so well with the wet conditions.
Yeah, that's a good point that you brought up because I think there's some issues with the weather telemetry that you could not see the race session, what whether it's going to be. Whereas the drivers will have an idea on that. So if it was a dry race, then it makes more sense to have a dry setup, which could explain why the guys are struggling so much in this full wets. And we
Oh,
see an Alpha Tauri spun around, and I guess that's the Alpha Tauri of uh Dipanshu, or is it Akash Sonavane? That is
I think
definitely
it's
Dipanshu.
Dipanshu. Oof, that was very close. No, but
Oh, that's Sandeep.
uh,
My bad.
yeah,
That was really my
yeah.
bad. Dipanshu
I
and
was like,
Alpine, I
when
got
did
confused with the
yeah?
logos there.
I was like, when did the Alpine turn and run for Alpha Tauri? That's fine. That happens. Oh, look at that! Look at these moments, bro. I mean, these are just cinematic as hell. As simply is gonna get a tow from the car in front. Which is that car? Let's see. He's getting a brilliant
That's a
tow, though.
Red
I
Bull
will
up
say
ahead.
this. I mean, I couldn't ask for a perfect tow as he gets 2 tenths away from pole. It's still helium out on provisional pole, but wow, I think simply might want to thank that Red Bull because he probably handed that car a P2. Oh, there's
Oh,
contact
not
between
Red
the
Bull.
drivers. Oh,
Oh my God. Was that the way of simply saying thanks? I don't think so.
okay. I hope
I'm
everyone
not really
is
sure what
fine.
exactly happened. I'm not sure whether Red Bull was on a lap. Uh, I don't know what was happening. If the Red Bull was actually on a lap, then simply might have to be considered for some action from the steward side, which we don't know yet. So yeah, a lot of things
Yeah.
happening right now. I'm pretty sure the post race reports will be quite lit up, and you see Mohan just going to the runoff area and trying to do his best impression of Mahavir Raghunathan there.
Yeah, I mean, such a throwback, bro. Like Mahavir Raghunathan. Yeah, but you can even see him in the background. That's too funny. But yeah, coming to that whole incident, of course, will be reviewed after the race. But I will say that Simply was definitely giving us some taste of racing in this circuit, especially in the wet where it's too difficult. But yeah, we as we're on board, of course, Moto now the only one in contention towards pole right now as he crosses the line. Still not improved, I believe. Yeah, he's
And
definitely.
one more thing, Simply has retired from the session. I think the castle section has claimed him right now, so he can't compete for pole as it is. So that's kind of a sad end to his session, considering there is almost half the session left.
Yeah, a sad end, but I still think Simply will be fine with P2. I'm pretty sure he knows that he's reached his potential, especially with the toe he got. I think that was the lap that he was banking on, and it's all up to Moto now to steal away P1, or if anyone else basically who can rise up to the challenge. Who do you think can go for pole right now?
Well, Motos definitely is a good contender for that. Cannot write him off. And of course, Shiv Kumar has this moment, so he has the potential to put in the lap. I'll be quite interested to see what will be his lap coming out. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a shuffle field right now, if you had to ask me. So I'm I'm really as clueless as you are.
I swear, like every single time I see the castle section, my heart rate just goes up a little bit. They're so close to the wall, so inches is the difference between the tires and the wall itself. It is so beautiful, this circuit in itself. But yeah, also want to give a shout out to, as I was about to say, that Destroyer Track just retires. He was one of the shout out, contenders last race, and we see him in the wall. Yeah, definitely looks like that's him in the wall. So I guess one of the turns just claims another driver as we see Arijit again on his lap as King James is currently heading towards the last few turns as we see him lining up for the final straight. Again, full ERS ejection. He still has 5 more minutes to go, which I didn't realize. There's still 5 more minutes left in this session, so still enough time for someone to go out and bank
What a
worth of a
lap.
lap. Wow, that was definitely one hell of a lap. P3 for King James. Definitely he can. I believe he can still go out for one more.
I mean, he has the ERS to do one more. That's a good thing with wet conditions. You don't
Mm-hmm.
drain a lot of your battery, and you
Mm-hmm.
recapture almost all of the energy in one braking zone. So he can actually
Mm-hmm.
go on for another consecutive lap. That is actually one of the strategy that drivers do often use.
Mm-hmm.
Fill up for 2 or 3 laps and
Mm-hmm.
just keep banging in those laps. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another strategy. I don't know if King James is on such a strat, but if he's on a strat, he's in the prime position right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think furthermore to your point, I think the tires also take less of a hit in these conditions. So you can definitely, push for 2 or 3 laps of these wet tires, and you won't really see too much of a difference in, in terms of degradation at least. As we see King James, yeah, he's definitely on a lap. Like look at him, he's definitely attacking those corners. He is trying to send it for another. Oh,
Oh,
aye, 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 that was so close. Again, the castle section is just it's almost there. You can really tell, the difference between a crash and the perfect lap time is a thin thin line,
yep.
as we
And
see.
as you can see, King James is confidently attacking the corners, and as I say, he just slightly goes off a little
Mm,
right, but not too bad. Still, like you said earlier, he's much more confident on the corners, just cutting through the curves. People usually avoid the curves like they're the plague, but this man is not afraid of them. Curves are afraid of him right now, and he is going through the final few corners. And so far, it seems like a good lap. I mean, I'm still
uh,
in the blind right now. We need to see what kind of lap time he's about to put, but still, it looked like a very good lap though.
yeah, and I'm not sure what is that red indicator below the KPH. Never mind, it just went away. There was something else. Oh, King James hits pole. And as
Yep.
you're saying that, you could just see, King James definitely was pushing
And
it there.
Helium has retired. Has he retired at the pits or has he crashed out
Wow.
somewhere?
Let's see.
I see a stranded blue dot
Yeah,
in the castle
yeah,
section.
yeah. I think he must have. Oh, he must have retired in the castle section.
Another
Can
victim falls
we go
for sector
towards
two.
like the white cars, the Haas's? Can we shift to one of them? 5 plays grid penalty with
Oh my
Sandeep.
god.
Oh my god, man.
That
Okay.
is that is quite weird. I don't know what actually happened there. Rumoti went on to the Haas. We just saw a Haas colliding with the McLaren of Moto, and Moto has got a 5 place grid penalty, if I'm right. Could you check that?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely saw 5 plays grid penalty there. So you're right about that. Yeah, he's definitely starting. Yep, 5 plays grid penalty.
That is sad.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been having quite a rough time with
Hmm.
F1 for a few for the last few rounds, and even the last round was quite rough for him. And this round, I thought it'd be different, but it started out somewhat similar. So I just hope he doesn't lose his calm and fights back from that.
Can we check the tires right now? Let's see if anyone's out there on the inters. Nobody's out there on the inters. It's still not ready for inters. I guess they're still struggling on wets. How would be ready for inters? Fair enough.
Yep, the rain did not decrease in intensity, and Faizan's got to be careful on the rejoin. There's a car coming in at this point,
Oh,
and oh, that's a sick
mm,
drift through that corner.
yeah, man, is that Yuki Tsunoda in there? Because that was definitely something worth worth recording for one of our trailers. But damn, again, like I think they're definitely drifting these cars around. Drifting is definitely helping them with their times as well, slightly. But yeah, I think Akash Sonawane is definitely, and King James again, another beautiful lap, 1 second off Helium's time right now. I think this also gives a little bit more towards the track conditions being a little better than what Helium had when he set up that time. And I think Helium would be, hitting himself at this stage if he retired at the castle section, thinking why did he should be more careful because he could have easily been in hunt for pole at this stage as well. As we see Akash Sonani definitely pushing it again, going through each corners, brave as a lion, hitting the apex perfectly. Oh, that was a beautiful, beautiful corner coming into that turn. Again, he's just gonna be careful, but he's definitely aiming for pole right now. As we see his personal best during that sector, he's definitely on it. And we're gonna see just one more sector left, a few more corners left, and he's gonna reach his top speed, a maximum of 350 as far as we saw. Of course, he's gonna hit more, and we don't have DRS for this sector, of course, but we will have ERS, and he's dumping it all out there. Of course, we can see he's using a lot of his ERS as well throughout his corners, and we see him get P4. I definitely thought it would be a lot more faster, but Faizan are coming ahead as well, and he crosses
The
the line in
Faizan
P11.
is just crossing his, just starting his lap, just
Oh,
finishes out lap. So, yeah. So he's on his final flyer right now. I guess there is no other cars behind him on his flying lap, or not. I don't really think so. And I don't think this flyer is
no.
gonna count for a
No.
lot. He just hit the wall. So.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. I mean, Faizan has so many assists enabled. I don't know why he would
And
have a
Lean
difficult
Super
time.
has crossed the line and he's improved to P7. Good improvement from him though.
Definitely, and Tanish in P5 as well, surprisingly. I will say though, I mean, I won't give King James his credit. He definitely has secured pole right now. I don't think anyone can beat that time anymore. And quite a surprising pole. I never thought King James as a pole hunter, but somehow he's pulled up that time. I wonder what kind of setup he's running. If I wonder if he sacrifices race setup for a quali setup. I wonder if that's the play there.
Could be. I mean, like I said, the weather we are not sure about that. We are still in the blind in terms of whether drivers have seen the probabilities. So maybe
Hmm.
King James is gambling on a full wet race and went for a wet setup, or he's just that good. We don't know. There's only one way to find out when the race starts.
I mean, of course, I've done less tier 1 commentary in the past. So, I mean, Deepak, considering you know tier 1, do you think it's luck, or do you think it's actually definitely his pace right now at the moment?
Like I said, I'm not that familiar with in-game space, but
Okay.
he's always been there at the top, just
Hmm.
threatening with some podiums and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said,
Cool.
it's quite a refreshing change to see someone snatch the pole this time.
Yeah, definitely a good change, especially considering it's a Red Bull. I've never thought I'd say that. Red Bull taking pole. Yes, I've never seen that before. But yeah, definitely King James taking out his Max Verstappen persona here, or should I say Perez persona, because Perez definitely dominates in Baku. But yeah, as we see the second Red Bull cross, again, no improvement from Faizan, but that was
Ak-
expected since you said, he hit the wall at the start. But of course,
And
Akash
Akash
Anwani coming in.
is rolling into the pit lane, so that's effectively quali over.
Yeah, definitely. And that's our grid there, folks. King James in P1. Of course, Moto will have that 5 place grid penalty, which you'll see and have a huge effect. I think he's going to drop down to P10, if I'm not wrong, if I saw it correctly.
I think P10 or P11. I think he's P6, so
Yeah.
it should be P11.
Hmm. Of course, we'll get that result data probably in a second or two once Collie. Yep, here it is. King James in P1, followed by Helium in P2, SimplyYT in P3, Akash in P4, Tanish in P5. That's a top five there. Of course, Moto is going to drop to P11. That gives everyone else a section to go up against. Yeah.
Yep, that
And
was
so
a
that.
very challenging
Mhm.
quali to say the least,
Yeah.
because as we saw, like even before the halfway session, there were like 5 cars that I just crashed out. So that actually showed how tough and how touches the conditions were. So yeah, King James definitely gonna be feeling proud of that pole.
Yeah, and plus I would say, half of the people surviving that quali is also a big achievement because we've seen the best of the best lose out. So I think if you survived, made it to P5, P4, it's still a good achievement. I mean, considering a quali like that with such harsh conditions, you definitely want to survive, uh, you know, first.
Yep, like
As
someone
we're
said, to win the race, you need to first finish the race. So yeah.
We're just waiting for the boys to set up their final setups, and it looks like it is dry. So definitely people were out there on dry setups. That's why they were probably struggling too much out there. I think they knew they didn't want to even risk it with a wet setup. Probably we'll see. Well, we'll get a better understanding of who had a wet setup and who had a, the
Or
race itself.
maybe, or
Hmm.
maybe, is there a transition incoming?
Oh, I think so, maybe. But if there's a transition in, because the skies look pretty clear to me. I don't see an inch of clouds on there. So again, if a transition comes, I'd be very happy with it. I'm a fun fan, so I'd love any sort of weather change action that we can get.
Yep, and it's not like this track requires a weather change to be something to happen, because as we just saw the quali, sector 1 and sector 3, it's more or less just a straight, nothing to worry about there. But sector 2, it's super technical, super tight, and a lot of players to make mistakes and a lot of time to lose, a lot of time to gain. So sector 2 is where all the action is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, this track would be pretty boring unless Sector 2 was not what it is. Sector 2 just makes this track unique in its own way, especially that castle section. That's something that you'd never imagine seeing in a fun, a fun track, but somehow still works best.
Yeah, it's absolutely mind-boggling that like an F1 car is going through like almost a small alleyway. Like that that's something
Mhm.
I did not think I would see in my lifetime. But yeah, here we are.
Yeah, again, this is one of the good examples of a street track made good. Unfortunately, we can't say that to. Okay, we are going live. I guess it's a formation lap for this time being. And
Mm,
wait, it's the race. The race
yep.
start.
Yep, this is
Eh,
a race start. There was a few issues with the formation, so we have decided to skip that. And we see King James is immediately challenged by Helium on the inside lane, but King James is maintaining the outside lane. And we see some cars going off to the escape road, and oh, that's three cars collected there. And I guess that's the Ferrari of Sai Tarun and the Haas of Mohan. And we see three wide into turn two. That always does not end up well. Up ahead, King James is still maintaining that very slim lead, and Lean Super is now attacking the punch. It's all going down right now, and I'm honestly lost right now. There's lots going on the track. And Deepansh is just holding on to the inside, and he holds the position in turn three. He's being very committed, and we see an Aston Martin behind just going into the wall. The drivers are scrambling all over the place trying to find their spot. And
Oof, there's
ooh,
contact between the Alfa
yeah,
Romeo and the Mercedes. Definitely the Alfa Romeo pushing the Mercedes into the wall. I hope he doesn't lose his wing. But of course, as we on board Sandeep Maridu, of course, he's aiming to get some more positions as he's had a very tough start towards the race, and of course that contact with Moto in quali as well. As we're speaking about Moto, of course, looks like the McLaren still retain the positions. I think a few people that lost most positions is, of course, the Ferrari ending up in the wall side run. And as we're on board, Sir Tanish is he's in P4, of course, going right behind Akash Sarmane, both I guess cars attacking the King James ahead, or rather, Akash Sarmane looks to be a little bit too far from for King James, and totally in the split stream right now is Tanish as he's aiming to attack Shiv Kumar. Sorry, Akash Sarmane as he's side by side, wheel to wheel, and they're heading towards the main straight as we see the Williams clear the AlphaTauri. There looks to be some contact,
there's a
and
VSC deployed right now, and that's the Aston Martin of Catty. Catty is out of the race. I mean, oh,
oh,
and there's another. Wait, was that Extreme?
yeah, extreme. Yeah, that's extreme. Has to be.
That I didn't know what happened there. I saw the Aston Martin, but I did not expect this to happen. So we see the Alfa Romeo have destroyed track and the Haas coming into the pits, and so does Red. As you saw clearly, he got pushed into the wall in
Hmm.
turn five. So
Yeah,
clearly coming in for a nose cone change.
yeah.
And while we are focusing on that spicy midfield action up ahead, the lead was changed between Helium and King James. And
Mhm.
while this VSC was being called, King James was almost ready to reclaim that lead.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
yeah, then oh, we've now been promoted to full safety car. So yep,
Okay. So I guess this breathes some life back into back into the drivers that had some of those, contacts at the start of the race. They definitely lost a lot of time and a lot of wings. But yeah, it's gonna. Firstly, the people who've pitted already, they're gonna get their pit stuff made up. So their hards, if they decide to take it towards the end of the race, technically they can. Although I don't think that's a faster strategy to them. But yeah, they're definitely gonna. It's gonna breathe some life as they're gonna join back with everyone else in the safety car comes out. I wonder if anyone's gonna go for any strategy, any
yep.
dire strategy
Talking
about.
about strategy, I didn't think because of the formation lab being turned off, we didn't get a chance to see what kind of tires these guys are starting on. And now we get the chance to catch our breath and discuss what kind of strategy these guys have chosen. And you see, Helium has gone for the hard tire at the start. James and Danish are on the medium. So quite an
Mm-hmm.
interesting spread of tires. You can see hard, medium, softs, all three tires. I don't think you've seen this kind of a spread in a long, long time.
I mean, saying that, I just have to say, how did Helium overtake King James with the hards on? Like, that's just an achievement on its own. The hards aren't that competitive, at least at the start of the race, especially after at a race start. And somehow Helium has pulled it off. It just shows the pace of that Williams right now. He's definitely on the charge. He knows he's got pace, and he's gonna prove it towards the end of this race.
Yep, and I'm not really sure what kind of start the punch is going for. He's going for a soft tire start, and I think some of the discussion with the drivers, it was mostly like medium hard, hard medium, but maybe Deepan's aiming for a two-stopper. I'm not really sure.
I mean, this is Baku. You could. I wouldn't say you're crazy if you're thinking of a two-stopper. There could be a safety car that could cause that, to benefit Dipanshu. But he's not the only one on softs out there. It's also SSJassassin who is on board right now. He's also out on softs. He's also hoping for probably another safety car in a few more laps that would help him with his at least his pit stops.
Yep, and one very, very unique characteristic about this track is safety car breeds more safety cars in this particular track. Just because of the nature of that back straight, it just absolutely piles you up, and you head into turn one, and it's all chaos. By the time you reach there, cars are going to be two wide, three wide, all the kind of chaos going on, and chances are it causes a collision, and there's another safety car. So it's one of the unique thing over this particular track.
As you're saying that, we just saw Mohan come in for a wing change. I'm not sure. Didn't he have his wing change a few seconds ago? Or did he have another sort of contact with the wall? He
Um,
didn't say that.
Not really sure. I mean, yes, he did enter the pit. Probably he did not enable that repair damage
Probably.
feature, because sometimes we keep it in auto, the game decides, well,
Yeah.
you're good to go. Just carry on. Doesn't bother change the wing. So could be one of
Yeah.
those issues. But
Yeah,
I don't
definitely. I
really know.
think you're probably right on that. Because that has happened to me so many times. I just turn it off to, no front wing change. And then when you lose a front wing, you forget to turn it on. And you're like, why is my people not changing my wing? I've had that, ruin my races before as well. So yeah,
Well,
that's
at least if you had asked me, at least it's off and on, it makes sense. But if it is in auto, somehow the game decides you might have a yellow wing. You'll be struggling to make the turns, but somehow the engineers decide that nah, it's fine. Just go on,
it's
just put a
fine.
scratch.
Just put a duct tape on it. That's fine. That's the AlphaTauri way.
Oh man, who could forget that moment? The TRS of Tsunoda broke and they were like, some duct tape. That's it. Good, keep going on.
I have seen people, swear on the duct tape being the best, invention out there. I think AlphaTauri just took it one more step too far.
Yep. That is
And
quite a miraculous achievement, and yeah, and I think the pack is almost all caught up. There's only the Haas of Mohan to catch up. So I guess if they all catch up, and I guess safety car will be in this lap. So yeah, let's see.
yeah, we'll definitely see. I mean, it's all up to again. You mentioned the first straight itself or the back straight essentially, and I have to agree with you. It's all about control on the back straight. When you're that fast, it's going side by side with another car. You have to know your braking points, especially when you're trying to go for a move on the inside. You have to make sure you brake enough that you don't lock your wheels with another car, because as soon as you lock your wheels with another car, the other car is definitely going on the wall and taking you with it. So that's what you have to be careful about.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Because of the nature of the turn one, it's like you almost go from topping out your engine to almost like a second gear, third gear kind of a corner. So
Mm-hmm.
there's more emphasis on the braking. So you need to get the braking absolutely right. And like you said, if you lock up your brake, you're just going to be a passenger at that point, and you're going to take someone along with you as well. So drivers are
Yeah,
going to have to be very cautious about that. And also considering it's a safety car restart, which means that tires are not going to be properly up to temperature.
definitely.
Because once the safety car in this lap message comes in, the leader is going to back everyone up. Everyone's going to be trundling around slowly. And especially the guys with the hard tires, they're going to be struggling quite a lot. So I can see like I think Dipanshu will have another chance. He's on the soft side now, which means that he could have much better temps on the restart. So I think he'll be on the prowl for making a few more moves with his teammate directly up ahead.
Yeah, at this point, it's Dipanshu's job to prove that he is back to being a pro player.
Yep. And still no safety car in this lap, although sometimes it
Yeah,
yes, there
I
is the
should
message.
say.
At least it wasn't too late. So now the drivers will definitely be backing out. They'll be waiting until the safety car goes into the pit lane and it will be green flag.
Yeah,
So, Hap, if you are in the leader position, how will you take this restart?
I just beg to God, please don't make anyone go side by side in turn one, because you're not in a good position when you're in in P1, especially. Even though the safety car restart is an aspect here. Yeah, you control the pace of the group behind you, but still it's a very long straight, and split stream is such a big effect, and we're just waiting for Elim to go, because he knows exactly he's definitely going to delay this as much as he can. And yeah, it's getting so tense. It's a
Yep.
poker game at this stage.
Yep, it's a game of who blinks first, and King James is right on there. He's not even leaving. He's like, I don't want tire temperature. I just want to nail this restart. And Helium, meanwhile, is desperately trying his best to get the temps, and I think he's going to take it all the way till the line before he starts. And I think Helium is off. Yep, he is off, and he has judged his restart perfectly. And we see some. I think there was a car going to the pit lane. Was it? I just saw a car on the sideways. Yep, that is Lean Zipper going into the pit lane, and we see the AlphaTauri going around the outside of the Mercedes. He's going to push into the wall. Oh, that's close. That's very close.
That was super close as he had to back out of that move to even survive that corner. That's definitely gonna anger, Sandeep Marudu a little bit more. But he'll, let's see, he'll put it towards a positive energy as we see Faizan getting overtaken by SSJ, who's on the softs right now, as far as I understand. Definitely contact between SSJ. SSJ is almost heading into the wall. He saves his car, but ends up losing a lot of positions as he slides off.
Yep. I just saw he was trying to make the overtake, and there was a very slight contact on that was just enough to send him sideways. Not really sure if he has some damage out of that because he did hit the wall, but yeah, at least he didn't DNF out of it, so he still has another chance to come back. Although it is a tough chance right now.
Yeah, as we're talking about, no more properly overtaking people, he's getting overtaken by people. As we see Motomoto and Simply move ahead into P6 and P5, P6 and P7. Of course, it's not been a good day for the McLaren boys, but I think they're hoping to get some podiums out of this. I think they know they've got the pace, especially Motomoto after that five place grid spot is looking in good position at this stage of the race.
Yep, definitely. Motomoto has clawed back 5 plays penalty that he had got, so he's where he qualified right now. And he just saw Archit having a little spin after the castle section. Wonder what happened. He's just recovering back and joining back safely. So that's all good. And yeah, so up ahead, Helium has nailed this restart to absolute perfection, and he's already pulled a second gap. I mean, it is hovering in the second gap, of course, but he's very nearly breaking the DRS there. That's an absolutely good reason. And we see SSJassassin going past. That's a Sai Tarun who was struggling through that corner. I wonder what happened to his car.
I think his rear must have not been set up properly. He's definitely losing a lot of grip coming out of corners, especially his stability. Rear stability is not perfect at this stage. You can see he's okay. He is definitely looking close to that car, but I think it's all about confidence right now for him. He's definitely missing some of that confidence to go for that move. As we see Red go side by side, and he gets the move on Sandeep Marudu as he claims P. Yeah, that's P12. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yep, and when you're focusing on that, we just saw these two cars fighting in the background, and that must have been quite some tussling going on. There were some contacts and side by side wheel banging, and we see even more wheel banging here with being no more pro player, and that's a McLaren of Simply. Oh, that's Shubkumar and SimplyYT. My bad. And okay, that's oh wait, what just happened there? Was it team models in play? Not really sure.
Not really sure. I think I'm not sure what happened there, but it definitely looks like Simply is not out there to play anymore. He's definitely going elbows out and he's definitely defending his position, rightly so. And that's working for the McLaren as he's creating a gap to Motomoto and he's securing Motomoto's position at this stage as Motomoto is on those hards, chasing against or chasing Akash Sonwane and the rest of the medium runners in P2 and P3, King James and Sartash.
Yep. So right now, top three are in Orion Road train, and there is a gap that is splitting between Akash Sonavane and the two McLarens. So yeah, the McLarens are making a steady move up ahead, and see King James is closing in and closing in, and he is going to be side by side. Helium just hogging the in middle of the track, making sure he has the inside line to defend, and that's smart defending right there. He's just blocking the apex, and he is staying on to the lead. That's really smart defending there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where, a lot of drivers get frustrated on this track because they're almost this close to an overtake but can't make it through. I think King James will have to keep his, keeps his wits on and basically wait for the moment, wait for the time where where Healy makes a mistake and then basically take advantage of it. As we see Red fighting against a Ferrari, it's getting very, very close, heated
Oh,
between
and there
Ritesh
is an
and Red,
Alpine
and
that
there's
is crashed
contact.
out.
Oh,
I guess
that's
that's
so
the
close.
Alpine of Dipanshu. I just saw that Alpine crashing out in the wall, and these guys are fighting. And I think some guys are not wanting to take that is going into the escape route right
Safety
now to
car.
crash into the Alpine.
Safety car. We've got safety car here again, boys. As we're gonna see people pit at this stage. I think pitting is it the time? I think it is, right?
I think SSA will be, of course, be very happy that the safety car came out. He's gonna be in the right window to ditch those softs. But for the medium runners, again, I'm not really sure what they're gonna go for.
Well, let's see. It's all about the next few moments as we see again so much contact, so much. I think Red definitely made a right decision. That crash happened in front of him as we were in his.
Oh, and
Oh,
you
we
see
see
another car
somebody
just
go
going
off.
straight.
That's
Whose
that's
car was that?
that's helium. That's helium. Helium just went in the wall.
Oh my god, what is happening here right now? Helium just made a very uncharacteristic mistake. Oh, and is he trying to get his back? No, I don't think so.
Well, not
It
the
sort of looked like there was some kind of issue with his inputs or anything of the sort, because that's very uncharacteristic. Someone just going straight into
what's
the wall like that.
happening. 5 second
And
penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Did Moto overtake in the safety car? What happened here?
I guess what happened is Helium has gone into the wall, right? So Moto might have gone ahead, and the game might have considered that as an illegal overtake or something of that sort.
This is getting This is getting chaotic right now. I think that's what you were speaking about Baku being so chaotic. This is exactly what happens in Baku. I think Helium is extremely lucky that he's got a safety car that'll lessen the blow, but this is a big blow, in fact, especially considering that King James is pitting as well at the same time. And wait, King James just went for another set of mediums. He's going for a two-stopper.
Nice. I mean, that clearly shows that he's betting on even more safety cars to come out. So yeah, that's more indicative of what this track is all about.
As we see, Tanish is also doing the same thing. He's going out on mediums. Everyone is banking on that two stopper. So I think yeah, the medium runners. Oh wow, everyone is pitted almost. But yeah, the only people that haven't pitted is the top three, which is the McLaren, the two McLarens and the Alpha Tauri at the start. As Akash Sonane heads up in P1.
Yep. So these guys started on the hard tires, and they are right now uh, using this to get the track position and betting on future safety cars to maintain the track position. Will that come to fruition? We're gonna have to wait and watch. But so far from whatever you're seeing, it looks like an almost a guarantee at this point.
And I think I have to say, I think you're right, Deepak. There must have been some issue with the controls because you don't go off on the safety car. Not a driver like Helium. He won't make such a mistake at least. I don't think that's possible. I think must be some issue that caused him to basically just go straight on.
Yep. Or maybe you're just distracted. Whatever it is, we'll get to know only after the race is over and you get a chance to have a chat with the drivers. But yeah, that was a really chaotic moment. And yeah, and like I said, Moto is just not having the good. He's just getting the shot into the stick at all times. Quali, he had a five place grid penalty, and now he has a penalty for ignoring yellow flags on the safety car. So yeah, his job is just getting even more and more tougher.
Mhm. We say it's chaotic and all, but to be honest, Helium's only in P7 at this stage, so he can definitely make a comeback from that position. We've seen Helium do that before as well. A comeback is still possible. P7 is not that far away, especially from King James, who is effectively, in consequential in P1 at in this stage, considering the pit stops. So I think there's gonna be some team orders here. Tanish is gonna back out and that's going to unleash helium towards Mohan, who I think he'll clear quickly, and then move on to King James.
But do you think there'll be team orders? So this is quite early in the season, and Danish is also one of the competitors. So do you think the team orders will be that effective at this point?
I don't know. I think it could be. I think Helium wants to get this done as quickly as possible, or maybe Helium could be the one to overtake his teammate fairly as well. It's completely possible, but I think if I'm Williams, I definitely want to bank on getting Helium's ahead first so that Helium can start overtaking others, which leaves others vulnerable to Tanish then.
Yep, that is actually a very fair point. And yeah, like you said, Helium is just the driver that he cannot discount, even if he goes down to P20 at the race start.
Hmm.
He's a driver of that caliber that he could still make a comeback and at least get a podium from that kind of a position. And this is just P7. This is nothing much for him, and definitely has the capability to do uh, and get past and even get a race in with or without team orders.
Yeah, definitely. And we're just waiting for the safety car to pile up. I think the safety car is definitely going in this round.
Yep.
Everyone's sort of bunched up, almost ready to go. So we're definitely going to see a race start by Akash Sanwane in a couple of seconds. And again, I wonder how Akash will take the race start at least, because we saw Helium playing the smart game of waiting as long as he could before doing the race start, as to avoid an overtake, down in turn one. Will Akash be as smart as Helium, or will he just try to catch them all off guard? We'll see.
Yep. I mean, this safety car restart is one of the toughest one to catch them off guard because, like you see, just one long straight. So most people, of course, the first thing that comes to their mind is drag them until the line. But
Mm.
if you're effective, if you can somehow break that, then that's
Yeah,
really
look at
great.
that. He's already creating a distance between himself and the safety car. He's definitely going to bank in on waiting on that moment. And once he's done, he's going to lift off and get through. And you can see Moto. He's not even kidding around. He doesn't even want to heat up his tires anymore. He's just waiting for the moment to go around, and he's planning to overtake him. That's very close between these two drivers.
Yep, and
Again, this is.
it's gonna get very spicy between Simply and King James if you had to ask me, because Simply is on older tires and King James is on fresh mediums, which means that
True.
he's gonna have the best conditions out of there. And Akash just gunned it. I think he's caught Moto napping a little. He's got a good gap, and Simply is now having a go at Moto. What will these teammates do? They've got to be very careful on how they're gonna approach this. And I think Moto is just using his ERS to stay ahead, and his King James is looming larger in the background, so they got to get a move on right now.
Definitely. I think you were right. Moto did get cut off guard, but speaking about it simply and Red Bulls, I don't think he had a good time with the Red Bull in quali. I don't think he's gonna have a good time with the Red Bull in the race as well. As King James will be eager to make a move on Simply as quickly as possible, but with a driver like Simply, you have to be very careful. As we see Tanish take a move on Mohan, and I think you're right. I think Tanish is also a capable driver who can make moves, and it's just showing up right now. As Celium's definitely chasing against Mohan right now, who's under threat for that P6 position, as the medium runners are now using all of the pace as they can. As we see Helium go for a move on the inside, this is a dangerous corner to go for a move on, but he makes it brilliantly as he gets that P6 position. Again, a beautiful move from Helium there.
Yeah, that's just confidence brimming out of it, out of him. He's just getting that perfect exit and not even going side by side, just straight up going ahead of him even before the corner exit. I mean the corner entrance. So that really shows that how much speed he's got in that car
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think he is one of the fastest drivers on track right now, and we're just gonna wait and see what happens to this. As we see Moto make a move even before the corner, as Akash goes wide and loses too many positions, as he's gonna just come ahead of Helium right now and cause trouble right there for one of the potential race leads of this race. As we
And I
see
see
Moto.
Akash Sonone, I mean, my bad. King James is also closing down the TRS, doing its work. They're almost going to be side by side now, and they're going almost side by side into turn one. Who's going to break the latest? Who's going to concede out of this? And simply just holds on to it by bare minimum of it. And yeah, King James is really just not letting this go at this point in time.
Yeah, I think if I was on King James, then I'll be a bit careful and just wait for the DRS. Especially, like I said, for Simply, he'll be a driver who will defend. As we see Helium make a move on
Akash
Akash
Sonone.
Sarwan. Yeah, sorry, it's so hard to keep a track of these drivers right now. There's things going on. Action is going on literally everywhere at this stage. But yeah, as I was stating, he's gonna wait for DRS, especially for a driver like Simply who defends almost at all occasions. Simply won't give that position easily, and he knows DRS is his best way to get that position. And that's what we see Simply doing, defending so well. I mean, and as we say that again, Simply almost goes wide, but still retains that position. Again, it's a difficult place to overtake this part of the sector too. But yeah, King James is biding his time, and I think he's gonna get his moment probably down towards the back straight into turn one. As we see Tanish getting closer to King James as well, it's gonna be a very big train right now for at least a few laps. And Simply he's just doing a good job at creating some space between him and Moto enough to maybe help Moto survive a few more laps out there on those old mediums.
Yep, and I think those guys are on hearts. Can you check the tires, please?
Oh shit, yeah, they're on hards.
Yep,
I
Moto
didn't
and
even
Simply is
notice
on
that.
hearts, and Simply is doing his level best to act as rear gunner for Moto, but I don't think he can hold it on for long. And I think you're gonna have a potential 3 wide right now. It's Tarnish, Simply, and King James going at each other, and Tarnish is having a peek over here, and he is gonna make the pass. He's on the outside, and King James is still holding on to it. Some absolutely brilliant racing here, and Helium is now gonna sneak along with King James onto the inside, but not happening right now. And Helium is still going to get a good run out of there with the DRS. And yep, I think Helium is going to get through at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Helium is hoping to make some more moves, and I think he's done waiting at this stage. He knows he's got more pace. Oh, as we say that, Akash Sonwan almost loses it. Oh, Akash is having a lot of moments today. As we've seen a few cars going 3 wide, there is a lot of chaos at the back end. Someone's definitely gonna land up in the wall, but there's some yellow flags out there. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe there was some
And King James
contact.
and Simply are swapping all over the place in the leaderboard. They're just going up and down. And Simply is now on P4. I wonder what happened there. Tanish is making a move through sector 2. And right before castle section, Simply is dropping down 2 positions.
Yeah, that was a pretty risky move from Tanish, but he's made it work, man. That's such a beautiful. Oh, we see. Was he hit him almost on the rear diffuser of Simply touching his rear diffuser with his front wing? I think there's definitely a lot more pace Helium's got, but he's struggling to struggling to keep it control. As we see him going for a move right now on the inside, will he be able to break late enough to get this move done? Yes, he is. As he gets it done uh, right there, easy, pretty simple and pretty straightforward, but a beautiful move regardless. As we see
Uh,
Helium
Yep,
in
but
P4.
will he have DRS? So that's the important question because these guys are going side by side and they had quite a huge gap, which means that Helium is not going to have DRS. Oh, wait, never mind.
Mm.
He does have a DRS. So yeah, but still, Simply is using
Yes?
all his battery to just get ahead of him, and
Oh
Helium
my
squeezes him
god!
almost into the wall. Some massive pin defense right here,
Oh.
but Helium leaves him just enough that he stays out of the steward's
Wait,
addiction.
somebody retired. Safety car.
Oh,
Who
jeez.
retired?
That's
I think it's
Mohan?
Mohan. Yeah, it is Mohan. That's another safety car. Who is he gonna play for? It's gonna play. No, it's not gonna play in Moto's hand because everyone's bunched up. Uh, but yeah, it's still a good enough lap. I think this is the time for the McLarens to actually pit.
Yep.
They can't wait any further. If they wait, they're gonna lose out a lot more.
But clearly, I
This
mean,
is
Simply was struggling so much against the medium
yeah,
runners. So clearly, the hards are going to be giving up sooner or later. So they're going to
yeah.
have to get rid of those tires. And it's a good chance for Moto to get rid of those 5 second penalty as well, if
hmm
you think about it.
But I have to say, Simply definitely has the balls to make some moves because he was really committing to that inside move and almost had Helium on those medium tires. That was definitely a move almost there to make, but a little too far because of his tires. But definitely, you can't blame Simply for not trying everything to make his strategy work.
Yep. I mean, that was full on commitment there. He was having none of it. Helium was doing all his best to intimidate and close the door, but
Yeah.
simply not having any of it. He was just going for it. He did not care at that point. But yeah, I mean, that would have been a nice move to see, but the safety car came in at that time and it had to defuse that battle at that point. But it's still a godsend for drivers like Simply and Moto who are still on those old hard tires. They get rid
Mhm.
of those and get into competent tires right now.
Yeah, I think you're right, but how far back will they be when they pit? I think they're definitely not in a good position. They'll probably be around P12 or P13 if they're lucky. Yeah, if they're lucky.
Looks like it.
Let's see what Moto does. I think he has to come in, but it doesn't. Is he? Yeah, he is.
That's a late choice to come to the pit. He did not add it to the pit entry. Thankfully, we're not scrutinizing that harshly, but
Wait,
yeah,
King
it
James
looks like a
pits.
very late entry.
Helium's pitting. Everyone's pitting.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, interesting. So basically, Moto retains his position is effective P1 at least for the time being until these pit stops are over. But there's some issue. Moto is behind. Let's see. Where is King James? Oh, Moto must have served his penalty.
Yep.
Yeah, he served his penalty. Fair enough. Um, yeah, but this is definitely a good position now because considering everyone behind him, I never thought those guys were gonna pit, but considering that these guys have pitted, Moto is still in a good position, effectively in a podium place, in a position to challenge for podiums right now.
Yep.
As we see SSJ
That
Assassin.
is provided there is no more safety cars because as you can see the guys up ahead, the top
Yeah.
six they're definitely betting on another safety car right now because, as you can see, they
Mhm.
all stayed out. You have Tanish, SSJ, all of them staying out
Mhm.
on those tires. I mean, to be fair, those tires are not that worn out as well. It's just 6 laps.
Mhm.
So they still got a lot of life left and they still have a lot of time to hold out for another safety car.
Uh,
So
can I can I ask something? Can we check what tires King James is on? Is he still on mediums? Because if he's on mediums, then he has to pit again.
he's on hard. So he
No, he's on
satisfied
hard.
the pit requirements.
Okay, yeah. So that's gonna so see that's another play there because Helium's gonna be on mediums and he satisfied his pit stop requirement as well. So it's gonna be a matter of who's quick at the end, whether the hards are quick or whether the softs will carry on till the end. Because King James is gonna face his first stint on those hard tires, and speaking about tires, every driver has their preferences, and I think the difference between hards and softs is so vividly clear that some drivers could excel more on those mediums than on those hards. So we'll see if King James excels or whether he faces issues on those hards.
I mean, from what I've seen, hard tires are not that great and they're quite bad when it comes to it. But considering that the cars are lighter on the fuel load, maybe it has some performance to offer. It's going to require a lot more skill from the driver's side to make it competent.
I think, to be honest, maybe if he went for softs, maybe there was a small chance, there could be another safety car. Could be a chance, yeah.
Shivkumar is making a late pit call. I mean, this was a bit too late for him because right now he's going to be in the back of the pack. But yeah, he's going on to a set of hard right now.
Yeah, the Alpine is definitely not on point with its strategy this race, and definitely Shiv Kumar is gonna have to do a lot more work getting back into position, getting back into the play for points, proper points.
Yep, certainly. So
As
I
we're
guess
on,
the cars are going to catch up, and by all means, I think we should be having a safety car in this lap.
yeah, hopefully, I mean, yeah, it does look like everyone's gonna bunch up. So, I mean, considering this race has been half of it has been safety cars itself. I think I'm done seeing safety cars. I think I'd rather see a lot more on-track action rather than safety cars. I think this should hopefully be the last of it, as we see almost four, no, five retirements. So that's a lot.
That's definitely not, and that is not too uncharacteristic of Baku. It's quite common. It's quite common seeing safety cars, these many retirements. I mean, it's something that we have grown used to at this point.
Yeah, true. I think I have to agree with you on that, Deepak. If we don't expect a safety car out of Baku, then these drivers are pretty much too good.
uh, well, even in real life, the top of the crop, even they couldn't go on without a safety car. It's historically one of those tracks
True.
where the strategists bake the safety car into their strategy options. It's such a track. So yeah.
Definitely, it's a beautiful track. I think they definitely Baku is one of those few tracks, one of those few street circuits that deserves to be on the calendar because of its unique nature as well. It's pretty much a little bit of the same thing, but unique as well in its own way. And safety car is in this lap. And could you head over to the safety car restart, Deepak? You can take over.
Yep. So Danish is now leading this pack. And yeah, I mean, a mix of tires up here. We have hards, mediums in the starting pack, and some fresh tires in the back after P5. So a lot of variety in this. So yeah, Danish is really going to be hoping to have a very late restart and make sure these guys are caught up in a battle with the faster guys behind. But looks like Danish is about to go. No, he's still leading, but there seems to be an increase in the speed though.
Mhm.
Still reading nothing much, and Tanish
Yeah,
has
that's
gunned
one.
it. Yep.
Mhm.
And SSJ is, I mean, I wouldn't say caught napping, but he's almost reacted quickly to that. But I think P3
Mhm.
Red got caught napping a little bit there, and
Mhm.
he's falling a little bit behind at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. They didn't get. I think SSJ and both Red got caught napping, so SSJ's napping did not have too much of an effect. But Red is definitely having the worst of it. As we see, again, the first four drivers are very close, but not close enough to make moves. As we see, Moto now getting a little bit. What's the word I'm searching for? Oh, getting a little too excited, trying to go for any move he can. As we see, almost getting in contact with the Red Bull as we see oh wait, Helium going for a move on Moto as well. There's too much action.
He got
Virtual
a
safety car
VSC
as well.
right now. Got a VSC, and Shivkumar has retired from the session, so I think he just got put into the wall at that time.
Yeah, you were right though. Deepak, safety car breeds safety car, and that's the logic of this race. Survival is one key aspect.
Yep. I mean, we've seen this so far, so many times in all our league races. Most of the times, you just stay clear, don't take damage, don't get penalties. You're guaranteed a good finish. But those 2 points are some of the toughest ones you could ever ask for.
Uh,
Don't take damage and don't hit track penalties.
I'll say this. I think Ritesh, at this stage, he's not shown too much pace, but he's been one of those drivers to keep his nose clean and look at where he is right now, P5. I mean, that's not a bad position.
No, definitely not a bad position at all. Like, that's what the league generally expects out of you. Just stay consistent, keep yourself out of any unwanted incidents, and you're guaranteed to have a good point finish.
hmm Yeah, definitely. As we see again, virtual safety car hopefully should end sometime soon. I'm not sure when we'll get green flags, but we'll probably get
We
an
have another
indication. Are we
DNF
ready
for.
to go out?
Oh no!
Drive-through penalty for Lean Sniper as well. But that's it for Red. He definitely lost it out of the corner and gets into a wall. I wonder what happened there for him. Is it racing? I think it's
It's
racing. Yeah,
green
it's
flag. It's green flag.
yeah. Wow. That was a little too much action by the end of that safety car, but as we see Helium trying to eye for a move. Helium's gonna go on the inside, and Moto has to make space for it.
Oh, there's
There's
contact up
contact.
ahead, and there's multiple
Oh!
cars going side by side. Oh god, that is bad.
I
That
think there was
was
definitely
bad.
contact between Moto and Helium. I think Moto got squeezed, and Helium could not do anything. He just had to concede. As we see, oh, there's another bit of action there. Almost Archit colliding with Faiza, and this just too much. Too much collision going on at this
And
stage, and
Akash Rane getting a 5 second for ignoring yellow flags. So I guess you made an overtake in the yellow flag sector. And you see two cars going side by side, making a move up ahead. That is Akash Rane and Sandeep Maridu, I guess. So yeah, I mean there's a lot to unpack right now, man. There's a lot going on.
and I have to say this. I mean, the top three are looking very different than any other race I've seen before. Tarish, SSJ, and King James. Everyone that you expect to win has had a very, very bad race this GP. And we see the McLaren, sorry, Mercedes or Richard almost losing it out of the corner. Simply overtakes him because of that mistake, and Simply is in P7 at this stage. But yeah, what do you think about the top three then?
Yep. So this is exactly playing into their hands. Tarnish SSJ. They were exactly hoping for this kind of stuff to happen, like the cars behind to start scrapping and just trip
hmm
over each other, which is exactly
hmm
what has happened right now. And especially Archit is having a torrid time since the restart because we saw that when Helium was trying to make the move, Mercedes of
hmm
Archit up ahead spun around and that caused
hmm
a bit of a chain effect, which slowed down
Oh,
the entire pack. And Moto almost going into the wall, full head on. I hope he doesn't have any wing damage, but yeah, his car is not performing well. And well,
hmm
never mind. He's not having a nose cone. That explains why he was struggling to make the
oh.
car turned in over there.
Yeah, there was definitely contact between Helium and Moto. That's what probably caused him to have damage. As we see, Moto almost overtake Sandeep in the pits.
Yeah, he
Um,
just ghosted through Sandeep into the pits and made the overtake. Don't wonder how that is gonna pan out though.
yeah, this is the point. I think you are completely right on that. When you pit under safety car, you also have risk of fighting others, which in Baku is another demon in itself.
You see
And
another yellow
another,
flag in sector 1, and
that's
that's the
McLaren.
McLaren of
That's
Simply.
simply Yes, Simply is out of this. No, wait, is he? No, he's not out yet, but he might have some damage. He went on the runoff, and we're just waiting to see any on board we can maybe a track view just to see is Wing gone? His Wing gone?
His entire nose cone
Yeah,
is off, so he's gonna have to get another nose cone replacement. Quite a lot of damage over there.
yeah. I think both McLarens. I think the McLarens are gonna run out of front wings by the end of this race. The team itself.
And somehow
But
Archit is back in P5. So yeah, a lot of people having a very bad time, and some of the DNFs. I think Faizan, we did not notice him getting DNF, so he's also DNF. So he just got 12 cars running.
I just like to give a shout out to Destroyer Track somehow making it to P4 from the back of the grid as well. Somehow this guy has made it up. Again, these are all those people who have opted into not pit in that safety car. And actually, to be honest, the ones who did not pit probably had the best cards dealt to them because, yeah, as you can see, they had better positions. And we see King James make a move as he's the fastest man on track right now in P2. And just 6 tenths of SSJ has destroyed access. Some contact between. I wonder. No, Tanish is pitting. Okay, Tanish is pitting. Fair enough.
Yep, he's
I
going for a set
wonder
of
if this is the
softs.
right decision. We'll see if this is the right decision or not. It's definitely a decision worth taking. We'll see how it benefits him at the end. But Destroy Dak in P3 and Akasurman in P4 with a penalty, as we see King James and pretty much SSJ soon fighting it off, as we see simply
Now
Moto
that's
Moto.
Moto making a move past Ritesh. So yeah.
Simply is
Oh, and
out.
that's
No
Sandeep
pit.
just going straight on. Wonder what happened there. He was just grinding those curves and just went straight on. Almost another magic moment there.
Yeah, Simply also pitted as well for those mediums. So Simply is actually pretty much done with his stint, and that's probably going to be his last stint of the race. As we see King James. King James is definitely looking quick on those hearts. I think King James is the man to get that win today, and I think he's definitely proving he's got the caliber to go for wins, and he's probably planning to go for his one today in Baku.
Yep, I mean he's definitely been much faster today, and he's dealt with the strategy quite carefully. So it's all looking good. And like I said, he seems to be the man on the track to be poised to take the win right now. But that could change if
Mhm.
Destroyer Drac is coming into the picture. He's got a faster tire than these guys. So yeah, I think Destroyer Drac has a bit of say in this, but again he's got to have to get these laps quickly sorted. He's definitely going to be praying for his assassin to defend as much as he could, but I don't think that's possible with this super
Mhm.
long straight. It just
Mhm.
breezes by him, just like how a Red Bull overtakes in real life with the other cars in DRS.
Yeah, but then S is just gonna have another shot if he can keep his car close enough. Another shot into the next few corners as he's gonna get DRS for this straight, and we'll see if he goes for a move. He's got contact with the wall, so I don't think he's eyeing for a move. As we see Destroyer, sorry, as we see King James just fly off into the sunset, so I think he's gone at this stage. And I think SSJ is to make that rational decision of letting P1 go so he can maintain at least his P2.
Yep, I mean sometimes you just gotta pick your battles, and at that point, definitely 6 laps difference in the tire life, which means that it's gonna be a tough battle. He's just gonna slow himself down and maybe put him out of the podium position. So I
Mhm.
mean, it makes more sense for him to just let her go and hang on to his DRS.
I mean, do you think another safety car is possible, considering we're so close to the end of the race?
I think it's just 6 more laps, so not really sure. I'm not sure. I think we are past the safety car
Uh,
possibility at this time. So if anyone want to get their pit stops out, I think this is a good time to do it.
Yeah, I think one more thing. I think SSJ is gonna have to. I feel like he's gonna have to pit. I don't think those hards are gonna survive too much. And plus, Tanish, I'm pretty much wondering what lap times Tanish is doing, because after this overtake of Akash Sarvane, which he's probably gonna get it done probably here at this corner. Yep, he's done, and that's a beautiful move right there by Tanish. My point is, how quick is he to catch up with the rest of them? Because he's got an 8-second gap. Can he get? He's gonna have to get 1.5 seconds a lap. That's gonna be very difficult for Tanish.
That's a very very difficult task. He's gonna have to do quali lap after quali lap to have any hope of doing that. And to make things worse for him, the guys up there are not fighting; they're just doing their own pace, which means that there is
Mhm,
nothing to slow them down as well. So
mhm.
uh, I would say it's a bit of a outside chance for Tanish, but I mean, considering what happened in this race, he still got to feel proud of where he is right now. And he's at the
42.
fastest lap of 142.6. So yeah, definitely doing good.
Can we check the last lap of every single driver? I just want to see what they've done for the lap times. Uh, that's the quickest that they've been, right? Okay, we can only see the quickest. Okay, fair enough. 42, and these guys are doing 44th right now. So 2 seconds. Do you think it's Danish is in contention? I think we'll have the answer towards as we see Sandeep losing a position to Helium. Helium gets it done towards the outside of turn one, and SimplyYT hitting 142 in those mediums. So Simply is also pushing. Looks like, and I wonder if Danish is actually saving some of his tires. I'm pretty sure. Let's see what happens there.
Nah, I really don't think there is no point in saving because we are at the tail end of the race. We're just having 5 more laps, which means that whatever you got in the tank saved up right now, you got to use it. And they see simply Tanis, they're all pushing as much as they could to reclaim whatever they have lost and make up as much ground as they could. That's what we are seeing right now.
I won't lie, he's 6 seconds behind Destroyer Drax, so a podium might be in contention for Sultanish if he still keeps, maintaining this pace.
Yep, like you said, it's still on the cards, but again, he's got to be careful. Like catching up is one thing, but making a pass
It's
that's
gonna
got to
be
be
a bit
something
different.
else. Also considering the fact that he's using those tires to the absolute limit to even make that gap up. I wonder how much tires he'll have left to make that battle successful. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right on the point, and we're just hoping. I think these are going to be the most tense 4 5 laps for Tanish as he's aiming for a podium and he needs to push for it. And pushing in Baku, of course, it can make you or break you. Where we've seen most drivers, it's broken them. As we've seen almost 7 retirements this race. No, not seven, eight.
8 retirements. You see, Sandeep
Yeah,
is right on the tail of Helium. Powered by the DRS, he is going side by side, and Helium has no DRS to defend, so he's just got to let this one slide, and he's gonna have to wait for the next DRS zone to get
mhm.
his chance to
Wait,
clearly pass.
Helium gets it. What is there a fight going on between Helium and someone else?
Yep,
Why
that's
is there a
Sandeep.
position game? Oh no, never mind. Akash Sarmane pitted, so that's why Helium gained the position. I got confused by that. Sorry.
Not a problem. So
As we
yeah,
see
Akash
this,
Sonane is getting his pit requirement out of the way, and top three, they are just running their own pace. They're separated, and King James has kind of broken
yeah,
that DRS, and he's up 3 seconds, which means that
yes.
the lead is sort of sealed right now. He just gotta make sure he doesn't have any track limit penalties on his name, which
Uh,
is
I
quite
don't
tough
think
to
it's
get.
sealed. I'll tell you one thing. Tanish is looking very quick right now. Look at the gap between Tanish and Destroyer. And at the same time, look at the gap between Destroyer and SSJ. I think Tanish could easily challenge for P2. And there's contact. There's contact between Sandeep Marudu and SimplyYT. I think Simply definitely pushed the rear tires of Sandeep. And Sandeep almost lost his car there. Had to back out to even save himself from getting into the wall.
Yep, it looked like Simply was trying to make a gap where there was nothing over there.
Exactly.
So he was just prying open that door to make a pass, and he just does that. But what will the stewards think of that? You gotta wait and find out.
Yeah, 3 more laps, 2.7 seconds. That's all on in front of Tanish. He's pushing. I think by the end of this race, those softs will be very worn as well. So I think, and look at that difference in ERS levels. I mean, Destroyer Tracker saved us the ERS to defend, and uh, Tanish doesn't have enough DRS. I think it's all going to be about how much of a difference in pace is the softs gotten compared to those worn mediums.
Yep, just got to say that again. It's one thing to catch up because you're gonna have to expend a lot of energy, a lot of ERS. Like you just saw, Danish was almost running on fumes in terms of the battery life that he had left. So that's the
But
thing
look at
about
that.
catching up.
I mean, look at that. Can we go on board Tanish? He's almost there. Like Tanish is getting very close. He's gonna have DRS by the end of this lap. I think he's gonna get. Yeah, he's definitely gonna get Destroyer towards the start of the next lap into turn one. I feel like that's definitely on the cards here. We can see the difference in grip between those drivers,
Yep.
and I think SSJ is also on the play here. SSJ is definitely on those worse hard hard tire compounds. So Danish is looking to get a P2 here, which is a good result for Williams considering how bad of a day it's been for the other Williams drivers. Helium.
Yep, definitely. I think I'm gonna have to take my words back because this is actually much closer than what I expected it to be. And
Mhm.
yeah, he's almost he's already side by side almost, and he's just barely
Yeah,
touching his ERS right now. He's gonna have the
yeah.
DRS open up right now, so which means that he's gonna have that extra boost of speed. And Destroyer is gonna have to use his battery to position
Oh
his car
wow.
smartly. He's right now hogging that inside line, but Tarnish is feeling much more brave. He's going on the outside
Oh,
line and almost
oh my
contact,
God.
just enough respect from both of the drivers, and they almost made
But
contact. That Tanish is being the most bravest of both of these drivers. Now,
yeah, but
Destroy Track is
then
gonna have help me with the
uh,
DRS here.
yeah, he's gonna get DRS. But look at that. Tanish has already flown across into the sunset. So Destroyer Track clearly does not have enough straight line speed to compete right now. As Tanish is just on point with with his throttle control. He's definitely throttling out better in these corners. The softs are gripping up almost perfectly as we see him twitching a little there, but that just shows how much he's pushing as he's now aiming for. He's not happy with P3. He's gonna aim for P2 at this stage. I think if there are a few more laps left, I, as I say that, I see 4 seconds of a gap, but then I think P2 is definitely on the cards here right now for Tanish.
Yep, definitely looking at the things, P2 is definitely an easy target right now for Tanish. It's very much attainable than what it was like a few laps ago. So really good job from him pushing. And we just saw Tanish having a slight moment here, just
Mhm,
squirming in the sideways, which shows that
mhm.
how much he's hustling that car to get that place
Yeah.
back. Tanish is that kind of a driver. I mean, we've known
Uh-huh.
his racecraft in the past. He's always the guy to just push to the absolute limit, even if there is nothing to be gained. So It's quite in line with what you expected to see from him, and he's again getting a good exit. He may not have the ERS, but he's closing down the gap. He's got a better grip, and he's gonna hit the helping of DRS, which is going to be enough to power him through. So let's see what kind of defense is SSJ going to offer up, because Destroyer Track tried his level best, hawked the middle line and parked it on the inside, but Tanif is just brave and he was like, let me just send it on the outside, and he goes again on the outside line. Will he be able to repeat it again this time? Oh,
That's
just
very close. It's getting a little naughty here, but then SSJ knows that he's gonna get DRS now, so he's definitely aiming for a better exit of this corner. And let's see if he got a better exit. I think he did. He's definitely a little bit better in position than Destroyer Tracker was, and he's gonna go for a move on the outside. Wheel to wheel. He's cleared Tanish off completely as we see Tanish lose the position of P2. This is gonna be a fight till the end. But again, Tanish is looking for a move on the inside, and
oh
there's
no.
he goes for it, but there's contact as we see Destroy Attack passing through into P2, and I think Destroy Attack just got a free P2 out of that, and it's a sad days for Tanish. It was all there for him, everything on the line, and he tried to go for a move, and I think they both went for a gap that just was very difficult to retain. And when you're going into a corner, you also have to rely on the other person to make it. But do you think he was making it, Deepak? I think he was overshooting it a little bit by the
He
looks of
was he
that.
was definitely overshooting it, because at that point, SSJ was turning in
Mm,
midway of the corner, and he made contact with the rear wheels of Tanish, whose car was
Yeah,
perpendicularly, like it was just straight. He was not turning, not pointing
yeah.
where the car was supposed to go. So, which clearly shows that Tanish was not going to make the corner comfortably, at least. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's kind of a sad thing to. This kind of a sad end to what has been a brilliant recovery drive. He's back
Yeah.
into P4, still not too bad, but I mean,
Hmm.
could have been better.
I mean, he's now under attack by Motomoto, so I think Motomoto's like definitely a little bit more happy. He's like, yeah, I'll take a P4 as well right now after that horrendous race. As we see Motomoto get DRS, he's of course also on those mediums, but his mediums are in a better condition than Tanish's softs at this stage. Nope, never
And
mind.
crucially, both of them are having very low on the battery. So it's gonna have to be a late lunch from Moto. Is he gonna do it, or is he not gonna do it? That was a tentative move, and Tarnish just giving it. It was very uncharacteristic of Tarnish to just give it up like that. That was quite weird to see, to be honest.
I think he's just lost his confidence. To be honest, I think this thing can happen when you spin around or when you have contact. It can hamper your confidence, and at some stage you just think, okay, let me just break a little earlier because I don't want what happened before to happen again.
Yep. I mean, I think it just exposed one of the cracks in Tarnish armor, which is basically the patience. He's
Mm,
known to be one of those guys who's extremely quick, but sometimes just lacks
mhm.
that patience. He just had to wait, and
Yeah,
he would have got another good helping of DRS, and he would have able to
yeah,
easily get him past in turn one. And yeah, that's an unfortunate, but still not too
yeah,
bad. He's still gonna finish in P5, which is still a respectable points position considering how his race was topsy turvy all over the place.
yeah.
Could have been,
And,
but yeah, that is what he's
uh,
gonna get today.
And as we're speaking, we're on board a race winner at this stage, King James in P1, heading the last few corners. He knows he's going to win this. Everyone knows he's going to win this. He's had a tough race nonetheless, on pole and fighting for P1 as well with Helium through all the safety cars, through all the incidents. He gets through the final corner and now heads towards the finish line as we see King James cross the line. He's gonna cross it in a second, and he's done with his race. He is our winner for this Baku Grand Prix. As we see Destroyer Track finish in P2, an excellent race from him as well, and of course SSJ as well, crashing out like he does every single time, but in P3 there, and that's a marvelous drive from these top two podium contenders. We see Motomoto Cross in P4, Tanish in P5, Archit in P6. Yeah, SimplyYT in P7, Ritesh in P8, finishing right behind Ritesh's Helium in P9. Not a good race for the Williams driver, as we see Sandeep Maridu in P10 and Akash Sonawane in P11, followed by Lean Snipper in P12. And that is the end of the Baku Grand Prix. How was that, Deepak?
Certainly chaotic. There was a lot to unpack. There was a lot of stuff that he couldn't even commentate on because before he could even think of phrasing the sentence, there was something else going on to the screen and just had to shift our focus. So yeah, very chaotic. I hope it was entertaining for the audience as well. And yeah, really great finish from the drivers. I mean, with only 12 drivers finished, which showed how tough the race was. But absolutely kudos to King James for winning that race because as you just saw, there's a lot going on around him. There's a lot of cars fighting. There's a lot of DNFs, a lot of crashes, but he somehow kept his head calm and collected through it all and made the best strategic calls throughout the day. So definitely deserves a win. And of course, Destroyer Drac as well. Last week he had an excellent performance, and unfortunately he had a little incident which meant that he was DNF. So good to see him on the podium step P2. Really great for him, and same for SSJ as well. So again, some smart strategy, some smart calls, which ensure that he stayed in P3. So yeah, overall it was a very good race.
Definitely. I think this was one of those races where strategy, there's no perfect strategy at all. It was just about what you reacted with what you got. And I think the top three reacted the best towards the conditions that they got, and that's why they're on the podium step right now.
Yeah,
As we
certainly.
say that, I mean, as we say that, I saw Destroyer Track almost change 4 tires. So definitely one of the more one of the persons who pitted the most in this race. Yeah, look at that, medium, medium, hards, medium. So yeah, one wild race for Destroyer Track. Of course, we'll definitely get them in the podium interview box as well to get their opinions on it. But that's the leaderboard, folks. King James in P1, Destroyer Track in P2, and SSJassassin in P3. That's our podium sitters for the day, and we'll just wait until we can get them on here, and then we'll continue with podium interviews. But my opinion on the race, yeah, of course, I think it was a banger race. It was chaotic. It was fun. There were moves to be made, and some people did go for it. And there were a lot of moments to cheer on, and a lot of moments to to cry about as well, as we see Tanish's story end with one mistake and unfortunately podium gone away. But definitely a race to remember and probably a good start towards this IRC season 11 championship. We've had two banger races, Australia and Baku, and we expect more to come later on in the season as well. And we're just waiting for our drivers to pop in.
Yeah, definitely that was a good race. But if you had asked me, the defining moment of the race was that VSC restart. I mean, that VSC timing was really bad, and the green flag came at a very very long time, and people are kind of caught up off guard, and that really set the complexion of the race, if you had asked me. And I guess we have all the drivers in here, so let's get started. So, why don't we get started with the podium interviews?
Yeah, I'll start with P3. Of course, if I'm not wrong, P3 is SSJ Assassin. SSJ, that was, well, what can I say? I think you had some issue with qualifying, right? You had a mistake made and you to retire. I think there was a crash at the end of quali, and from that crash, you somehow made it onto the podium. On the podium itself, P3 is not a bad job. And can you go over your race and, of course, your contact with Tanish as well? Just go through with that.
Yeah, first off, congratulations to the other podium finishers as well as our race winner, King James. Quali was a disaster for me. Of course, I went for a low downforce setup. I thought I could pull it off. I just increased my front wing a little bit, but then I binned it in my outlap. Binned it as in I hit the wall in sector 2 into the castle section, and then in the last the chicane before the main straight, I went in too hot and I hit the wall and totaled my car. And as for the race, what can I say? I mean, I made the right strategy calls by going on, like, first off, by going on softs. I think it was in the first stint, it was the right call because I wanted to gain positions, but at the same time, keep it as clean as possible without getting any damage. I got light green. I got a light green front wing, but front left, but that was still okay. Could manage. And I gained, like, I guess I went up to P11. And then, I just made the right strategy calls and then pit for hards in the second SC. And Tarnish ahead of me. I thought his race was pretty much over because he was on very old mediums. I don't think he had I think he got put them on the starting of the race, and then I thought his race was pretty much done because he screwed up his strategy. But then On the softs, he was super rapid, like extremely rapid, and kind of caught me off guard. By the end, yeah, he had caught up to me, but I guess he was low on ERS because I was gaining on the straights considerably. Uh, but then, yeah, in turn four, yeah, what I think, yeah, he completely locked up. He sent it down the inside, and then he locked up his tires, like all four tires, and then just completely went straight. I tried to turn in, and then we both made contact and spun out. But yeah, Tanish ended up the worst of the two of us. But yeah, at least P3 from P17 is a good result for me.
Yeah, definitely it is one of the better results of the day. To be honest, we had too many surprising results come up, but that's definitely one to be proud of, one drive to be proud of, SSJ. And do you have any further questions, Deepak?
No, nothing from my side. I think most of the events are just unpacked by SSG himself, so I guess we can move on.
Perfect. Could you take over P2 then?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, so P2 is Destroyer Drag. So how are you, man? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Yep, really great. Thanks for asking. And yeah, we were just talking about how you finally got your podium in this weekend, and we just saw that you had made 4 stops. So just talk us through the race. Pretty much chaotic, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning laps, I just tried my best to avoid any incidents that was bound to happen with a very tight circuit. But still, I kind of got caught in an incident because I could not really avoid it. So I had a wing damage, so I had to box. And then from there, again, I was just trying to avoid incidents and just made some right strategy calls in terms of safety cars. And I saw Danish boxing towards the end for softs. I had the same idea as well. But then again, I had tried this sometime back in another league race, but I was not able to catch back. But I guess the scenario was quite different today. So would have been interesting if Tanish had made it. I think he would have caught up to King James. Just unfortunately caught up with an incident there.
Yep, and I mean that was still. I mean, it was chaotic for us. I'm pretty sure it was much chaotic for you. A lot of decisions to make on the fly, and well, thankfully your decisions paid off well, and you're in P2 today. So yeah, congratulations on that result.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I finally got the podium from disastrous race last weekend. So happy
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
yeah. Good luck, man. Good luck
Congratulations
for
to
multiple
King James and
podiums.
also SSJ. They drove really well as well. Good comeback as well, SSJ. Yeah.
You too, man. What you started P18 or
I think
19?
I just started behind you or ahead of you. I don't really remember. Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, so good drive from you as well.
Yeah. Good, good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Great performances, great drives, and yes. So shall we just move on to P1? So why don't you take this away?
yeah, of course I'll take this. Of course, our pole sitter here today, King James. What a mighty, mighty race from you. I think definitely a race to remember, getting pole on those worst conditions, being so far ahead of everyone else in that quali, and then again losing. Of course, you lost your position at the start of the race, but you were still fighting against King James, and you were with King James throughout the entire time until, unfortunately, King James made that mistake in that first safety car, I believe, or second safety car. But yeah, could you go through your race, King James? Definitely one to remember in your books.
Hey, yeah, definitely. I mean, for sure. I mean, it all started off, I guess, with, quali, went well for me, obviously. I think a lot of the big guns like Drac and, SSJ probably had an unfortunate incident. So, because of that, I was able to, bag P1 off the start, like, and quali. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, I knew I had quick drivers behind me. I was not sure of my pace in the dry. But so when, as you said, when Helium overtook me like off the start, I wasn't too worried. I had opted for a high downforce, setup, little bit risky given Baku has like that super long straight, but I thought like Baku being like super rear limited, right? Like you cook up the tires literally like really quickly. So I think that was the main thing, like taking care of the tires and having a I opted for a more like high downforce because I thought I'll be able to control it a lot better, the slip and stuff. So that was my thought process, and yeah, it was unfortunate for Helium. I think how he crashed, but yeah, from then on, I feel like the main thing here was, I think it was tough for all of us to kind of like get to which tire to go on to, because like suddenly, just getting a rhythm 2-3 laps, 4 laps, and then, safety car. So, and then, thinking on like which tire to, actually jump onto. So I think that was something that, at least for me, it was something like I was literally like, constantly making calculations in the head. And so, yeah, but I was always planning to go for 2 stop because I wanted that extra, tire wear. I didn't, because I thought just one slip, and one, oversteer moment and you'll be in the wall. So I was always planning for a 2 stop. Would have preferred medium softs, but yeah, I mean, how the race panned out was pretty good. And yeah, overall, I think a good race. And yeah, definitely, yeah, something to remember for sure.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not wrong, you got P2 in the last race as well. So you're definitely making a fight for the championship. You're keeping one hand on the championship right now, I guess.
It's too early, man. It's very early to say anything, and I'm like a lot of the usual suspects like SSJ Drag, Moto, Helium. I'm sure they'll definitely be up there. So I think, yeah, but it feels good, like to know that I
Hmm.
can battle it out with these guys. It's
Mm.
feels good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and that's a good start as well. And hopefully, we see more of this from you, King James. It was an amazing race from you. Congratulations on that. Deepak, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, nothing much other than just congratulations to all these guys and to all those who finished the race, because that race was quite
Hmm.
brutal in terms of the DNS. It was quite a race of attrition. So yeah, I mean, really, congratulations to all those who finished, and specifically congratulations to this top three to making it out of the chaotic race and getting such a good result. And with that, we're gonna have to end this stream right here. So it has been a very chaotic race, a very entertaining race, and yeah, and I think on that note, we just have to just head over, go to sleep, and go to work tomorrow. So, yeah. So on that note, we are ending it right here. We'll be back next weekend with the next round of the FN series. So yeah, do stay tuned. Follow our Instagram too for getting more updates. And yeah, do join us on the Discord if you want to take part in this action. So yep. On that note,
And
it's
of
me,
course,
Deepak, signing off. And yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well. We appreciate those, those responses and efforts. If you like to race, you can of course join our Discord server and go over with it. Where of course, over here from our IRC team, we're gonna bid you goodbye and have a lovely day ahead. Bye bye.
Bye bye.